Hello and welcome to your first workout of week 1. We're going to get straight into it. If you have dumbbells or kettlebells or weights of some description, that'd be great to have nearby. If you don't have them, don't worry, I can give you variations. And we'll start with our warm-up. So we're going to come into a tabletop position. So please stack your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And then we'll just start to move through cat-cow. So on a breath in, collarbones broaden. And then on a breath out, push your palms down, really round your spine. And again, it's an inhale, the belly drops, collarbones broaden. Exhale, push down and round. Again, breath in. And a breath out. As you inhale, come to a neutral spine position. Tuck your toes under, send your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Maybe lengthening your stance there. And then just go ahead and pedal out through your legs, so bending through one knee while the other leg straightens. Maybe a little shift side to side, moving the hips, feeling the whole back chain of your body start to open just a little more. And then starting to come to stillness in your down dog. Breathe in and breathe out. And then as you inhale, right leg lifts up. As you exhale, knee to nose to gently step your foot forwards between your hands. Drop your back knee down, reach your arms to the sky. This is a low lunge. And so this may feel very, very yogic as we begin. But it's a really great way to open up the body to essentially do a warm-up. And so here, as you squeeze your back glute, see if you can shift your hips forwards a little, and you might feel there's this extra space through the left hip flexors. And then as you reach your arms higher, breathe in. Take your hips back, start to straighten your right leg as you forward fold on the breath out. Do that a few more times. Inhale, low lunge, shift your hips forwards, reach your arms up. And exhale, pull your hips back as you fold. One more time, breathe in, shift forwards. And then breathe out, pull your hips back and fold. Then take a halfway lift, really try and lengthen your spine forwards. Keep your right leg as it is. And then as you exhale, fold a little more. As you inhale, rebend your right knee, plant both hands down, step back, downward dog. Take a breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale, left leg lifts up. Exhale, knee to nose to step your left foot forwards between your hands. Back knee down, arms to the sky, low lunge. And straight away, get really firm through your left foot as it presses down. Start to squeeze your back glutes, that's your right butt cheek. Really squeeze it actively on. And then as you breathe in, can you reach your arms a little higher? Big inhale. Slide your hips back, start to straighten your left leg and fold on your exhale, lifting through the left toes. A few more times, inhale, shift forwards, reach up. And then exhale, slide back and fold. Again, breath in to reach up. Breath out to fold here and pause. We'll take that little halfway lift where you broaden your collarbones forwards on the inhale. Forward fold a little more as you exhale. Inhale, left knee bends, hands plant down. Step your left foot back, downward dog, breathe out. And then start to walk your hands towards your feet at the back edge of your mat. You'll land in a forward fold. Take a breath in. And a breath out. And then walk your hands back out into a high plank pose. Hands underneath your shoulders, belly really firm. Take one breath in. Walk your hands to your feet as you breathe out. No rush though, take a few breaths to get there. Once you arrive in your forward fold, breathe in. See if you can fold a little more, really opening through your hamstrings as you breathe out. And then walking your hands forwards, high plank. Walking your hands back, forward fold. And we'll do that twice more straight away, this time walking forwards to your plank pose, hips steady, belly strong. Walk it back, forward fold. Upper body really hanging heavy over your thighs. And then one more time, we walk forwards to your plank pose. And then roll, take your feet, a little wider. Roll onto the blade edges, kicking your heels to the right. Left arm opens and you're in a side plank. Straight away, feeling your hips lift up, hug your belly in. And then we'll switch it, left hand down, kick the heels to the left, rolling onto the blade edges of both feet, reaching your right arm up, side plank. Good, feel your waist cinching in, feel your belly tightening and your butt tightening, breathe in. Right hand down, knees down as you breathe out. Hopefully you're feeling a little warmer now. We're going to lay onto our backs. And as you lay down, feet will be hip distance wide, knees facing up towards the ceiling. Feel your belly hugging in. And then go ahead and press your heels down, lift your hips up about halfway. So you're in this kind of low bridge position. And then as you press your heels firmly down, start to squeeze your glutes a little more so your butt cheeks are firm. And there's this kind of tucking action of your glutes or your tailbone towards the backs of your knees. And then once you've got that going on, see if you can hug your belly to spine. So belly's really firm, inhale. And then stay to exhale. Good, take a deep breath in. Then press your heels down, lift your hips up a little more as you breathe out. Good, we'll do that again. Inhale, just lower halfway. And then exhale, lift your hips a little higher. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. One more time, big breath in. Lift your hips up as you breathe out. And then let your hips come all the way down. Keep the feet planted and interlace your hands behind your head. Elbows nice and wide. Breath in. Curl up as you breathe out. So it's like an abdominal curl here. Inhale, lower. Spine long, elbows wide. Exhale, curl up. Try and lift off your shoulder blades. Inhale, breath, lower. Exhale, curl. Again, breath in. See if you can get a little higher this time. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. And then curl up. Breathe out. Pause here. Keep your lower back kind of pressing against the mat. Feel your belly zipping in. And then take one foot off the ground so that your knees stacking over hip. And then take the other leg up. Good, now notice if already your shoulder blades are dropping down, so if you can curl up a little more to keep your shoulder blades lifted. Good, please take a deep breath in. Feet come down, back comes down. Release your hands beside your hips, take a breath in, feet firm. Hips up, glute bridge as you breathe out. This time going up to the top range or your end range. Inhale, we come all the way down just to hover your hips off the mat. Exhale, hips lift up, squeeze your glutes. And then continue like this, just inhaling and exhaling, but noticing if your hips are stacked in line with one another, first thing. And then if they are, great. And then notice where your knees are in space. Notice if they're pressing out wide or if they're collapsing in. See if you can find that midpoint where your knees are stacked over your ankles. And you're really quite stable through the pelvis. So as you lift up, it's really strong, really controlled, rather than kind of forcing yourself beyond your end range or maybe having the knees swing out. Just really controlled movement. You should start to feel your glutes squeezing to work or activating to lift your hips up. We'll just do a few more here. Slowly moving. And if you're feeling it in your lower back, see if you can hug your belly in a little more, so tighten through your abdominals so that your lower back's really supported and it's just the glutes and hamstrings. that are working. Well, they're not the only thing working, but they're the main movers. All right, last one, we lift and then lower all the way down. Hands interlace behind your head, elbows wide, and big breath in. Lift up off your shoulder blades as you breathe out. Inhale, lower, elbows wide. Exhale, elbows come to temples and then towards your thighs. Inhale, breath, we lower. Exhale, lift up. Again, breath in. And breath out. Last time like this, breathe in. And then breathe out, curl up. One foot off the ground, other foot off the ground. This is optional, so you can keep the feet down if you'd like. And then we keep the legs the same. Inhale, lower, elbows wide. Feel your lower back. It's probably trying to arch away from the floor quite a lot. See if you can hug your belly in to maintain your neutral spine position. Take another breath in here. Elbows are still wide. Exhale, curl up. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, breath. Exhale, breath. Up, off your shoulder blades. Inhale. Exhale, curl in. One more time, big breath in. And big breath out. Elbows down, or elbows come wide, feet plant down. Hands can release beside your hips. Take a breath in. Heels down, hips up, bridge pose, breath out. And then hold at the top this time, really clenching and squeezing through your butt, hugging your belly in, making sure your hips are in alignment with one another. And then this time it's just going to be a little drop through the hips, so it's a pulse. We drop and lift, squeezing and releasing the glutes just momentarily. So there's a lot of squeeze and a big lift through the hips. Again, if you're feeling it in that lower back, you want to hug your belly in more, so you're really tight through your abs. And if you're feeling it quite a lot, you might even just drop your hips and not thrust quite so far up, because it might be that your hips are quite tight and that's limiting your movement. All right, you can lift and lower, pulsing for another 10, 9, 8, keep it going, 7, 6, squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower your hips all the way down, hands interlace behind your head. Whew, and big breath in, elbows wide. Legs come up to 90 degrees as you curl up on your breath out. This time we stay lifted through the shoulder blades, so up. And then inhale, right leg kicks forwards. Exhale, bring it back. If it's too strong with the leg kicking, you can do a little toe tap, left foot. And then exhale. So all options, inhale, right leg, either straight or bent. Exhale, bring it back. Notice if your shoulder blades are dropping, see if you can curl up a little more. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, right leg. Exhale, curl, bring it back. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, bring it back. One more each side. Inhale, breath, we kick, belly's tight. Exhale, bring it back. One more time, kick long, lift up. And then bring a knee back, lower the back of your head down, hug your knees to chest. And then take a little rock and roll up and down the length of your mat. Coming up to a standing position, alrighty. So we're gonna come into a squat, okay? So feet will be a little bit wider than your hips. Toes can be slightly turned out. And our first round here, we're going to go body weight. And then we'll add on, so we can add weight as we go. If you want to go straight into weighted, you're more than welcome to do so. So no weights up. I'm not demonstrating weights yet, but I'll show you that in our next round. Alrighty, so hips go back, knees go wide, sitting to your depth, standing up tall, squeezing your butt. And so you're initiating that kind of squeezing feeling in this spot. So from the bottom, squeezing your glutes, pressing your heels down. Noticing if you have a tendency to round or arch through your back, so either you're rounding at the top or popping your hips back. See if you can zip the belly in to maintain the natural curvature of your spine. And then we slowly come down and strong. It's a strong push through the floor to stand up. So slow on the way down, a little bit quicker on the way up. Last one. And then coming all the way up. All right, give your legs a little shake. We're coming into a single arm row now. So grabbing one dumbbell, We'll go right foot forward, left foot back. It's like a long lunge position. Your right elbow is just gonna rest onto your right thigh. Left arm has the weight. Left shoulder pulls down and back. Elbow pulls towards your ribs, and then you're slowly lowering the weight back down. And so here we want to be mindful, and you just continue like that. We want to be mindful not to lift through the neck and the traps. So if you have a look, we want to avoid that. And what we do, or how we avoid that, is by rolling the shoulder back and down, then pulling the weight in. Belly keeps hugging in here, so don't forget your core. Core pretty much should be working in most of your exercises. Elbow pulls in. Alrighty, last little rep, squeeze in, and then slowly release it back down. Dumbbell to the floor. Try to do that while you're in this position, and that way you kind of avoid that, like picking up with a rounded spine. We'll change sides. Left foot forwards, right foot back. Hinge at the hips, so pushing your hips back, left elbow to left thigh. Right arm grabs the weight. And then right shoulder back, elbow in to pull the weight up. Good, and keeping your shoulder back. Elbow is fairly tight to your body, so it's not flaring out really wide. See if you can drop that right shoulder down and back. Just turn actually so you can still see my positioning. The back thigh is quite strong, so squeezing through your right thigh. Elbow, remember, hug it in. Releasing that tension through your neck and through your jaw. Just got 2 more reps. Squeeze the weight up and in. 1 more, coming up. And then releasing the weight down. You might place it straight down there, or bend through your knees to pick it up. So we're coming back into our squat now. So this time, either 1 dumbbell at your chest, or if you've got 2 lighter dumbbells, or even heavier if you're feeling really strong, you bring them up at your chest like so. Same position with the feet, toes slightly out, sitting back in your hips, knees out wide, and then standing up tall, making sure you squeeze or recruit through your glutes. We should have activated them pretty well. They should be feeling active from all those glute bridges. Now here, really mindfully pressing your feet down into the ground. So feel the big toe mound press down, feel your heel press down. Even the outer blade edges of your feet should be pressing, so really firm. And I recommend training, especially with this kind of stuff, in bare feet. And that way you get that tactile sense of where or what your feet is feeling. That's it, that's enough. So your foot can actually grip the floor, which means it follows up the chain and your glutes can activate better. Okay, right foot forwards, left foot back. Long neutral spine, right elbow to right thigh, left hand grabs the weight, and we start the movement. Elbow pulling in, and you really try to work. So what this works is your biceps for sure, but the main mover here is your lats. Your rhomboids are working as well, which are your 2 back muscles, or 2 of your back muscles. And so as you pull the weight in, you should feel that kind of meaty bit, your wings, squeezing back and down. And sometimes when you can visualize which muscle's working, it helps to activate it. Because if you kind of don't know what should be working, it's hard to feel it. And the more we can feel it, the more activation. So it's kind of like a cycle that continues, a positive cycle. All right, let's place the weight down. We'll change sides. Left foot forwards, right foot back. Okay, hips push back. Chest leans slightly forward, your left elbow to left thigh, right hand grabs the weight. I'll stay on this side this time just so I can keep an eye on you. And the main thing here is that shoulder. So I always see, especially if it's in the right hand here, there would be the right shoulder trying to hunch up towards the ear. So see if you can roll your right shoulder back and down, then you pull the weight in. And then see if you've kind of forgotten about your lower body. See if you can squeeze your right thigh, squeeze your belly in. Whew, you've got just a few more reps to go here. Keeping a close eye on the time, don't worry, making sure we're not going over. Alrighty, last rep, pulling in. And then bringing it out. Okay, last round of these, so just 3 sets in this week 1 program. Simple stuff. Simple, not easy. So one weight or two if you're going weighted for your squat now. If it's two, make sure your elbows are nice and high, chest up. And then it's the hips that move back, knees travel wide so you can sit deep, stand up tall, squeeze your glutes. So really important here, especially if the weight's at the front, to make sure you're bracing so that you're not rounding as you go down. It's this big lift through your chest. So chest stays fairly tall. Gotta hug your belly and think about all that core work we were doing. It's that similar feeling of zipping the belly in. It's almost like a little bit robotic with the hips. So the hips go slightly back, then the knees start to bend more, and then you come up standing nice and tall. Ooh, last rep, coming up. Alrighty, one dumbbell down, making sure if you put dumbbells down, you bend through your knees, not through your spine. Right foot forwards, left leg back, hips push back, chest leans forward, right elbow to right thigh, left hand grabs the dumbbell. Pull the weight in, and then release it out. Whew. Really getting the heart rate up here by talking through all of these movements. It's that big squeeze, elbow in, shoulder back, core's really tight. And then you focus, like I said, on the other side, you can visualize the movement, but also visualize the muscle that's working to get the weight up. All right, keep squeezing your left thigh. And then maybe release a bit of tension through your right shoulder. So this shoulder here, try not to kind of hunch into that shoulder while you're working the left side. Last rep. Alrighty, dumbbell down. Stepping up, maybe shaking your legs if they're a bit sore. Left foot forwards, right foot back. Think about tipping from the hips. You're actually leaning your torso forwards without arching this way or rounding. Elbow to thigh, right hand grabs the weight. Right shoulder back, elbow in, slowly release down. And so really important is the control, and you notice that in pretty much all of my workouts. You should always prioritize your technique, your control and the range of motion over lots of weight. So if you were to grab a bigger weight and you lost your control or your depth was compromised, I'd prefer you to go lighter so that you could still get your full range of motion. That way you're activating all the muscles you want to activate. You're not overloading other areas of the body to kind of get that weight up. Last rep here. All right, that felt easier because I was explaining all the other stuff. Grab a quick drink if you need it. A quick one. And then we're going to move in to our final set. We're already there. So in the final set, we're working your glutes and hamstrings a little more. And really important again, this is really prevalent in all of my workouts, is glute and hamstring work and core work. Not just because we all want to have tight abs and bite, but really, really important for your posture. And if you, like many of my clients and friends and colleagues and everyone, if you're seated a lot, those two areas, it's so, so important. It's critical, in fact, to strengthen those areas, because then you avoid any of that tension and tightness and also weakness through the lower back. So we want a really strong supported core, strong glutes to support the lower back and to support the whole spine. That was a nice long break for you. So grabbing 2 dumbbells, feet are a little bit, they're about hip distance wide, maybe a touch wider. Dumbbells resting on your thighs. If you've got a kettlebell, it'll come through the middle. The dumbbells or kettlebell slides down your thighs as your hips push back. You'll hit that end range where you kind of can't go any further without rounding your spine. Then you stand up, squeeze your butt. And so here, really important to keep whatever weights you're using moving against your thighs, because the further they get away, the more likely you are to round your back through the upper back and the lower to kind of move or to get that movement. And so if we keep that neutral spine position, see as I push my hips back now, I've got this long neutral spine, feel that stretch on my hamstrings, press my feet down, squeeze the butt, and I'm using and recruiting glutes and hamstrings, as well as core is obviously there to support. That's enough of those. Bend your knees to place the weights down. Step to the back of your mat. I'll go into that more in just a moment, but I just want to get you set up for this one. So the back of your mat, feet hip distance wide, just like we did earlier. You're going to forward fold. You're going to walk straight out into a high plank. Hands under shoulders, either knees up or down. If they're down, one push up. If you're doing it from your toes, I'll demonstrate the next one. But we're all going to walk straight back into a forward fold. From the forward fold, walk forwards. High plank position, knees up or down, we push up, elbows hug the ribs, belly strong. Walk back. Walking forwards, knees up or down, push up. Core tight. One more, we're going back. We're going forwards. Push up. This time walk your feet to your hands at the top of your mat so you're closer to your weights. I just saved you a little bit of it. Alrighty, grab your dumbbells, bend your knees to pick them up, note your back. You're going to hear me say the same things a lot. Feet hip distance wide, shoulders back, belly tight, hips back, long neutral spine. Stand up, squeeze your glutes. And so, what was I saying? We want to make sure the shoulders are drawn down and back and you've got a neutral spine position to protect your lower back. I think I said that. We want to feel the stretch on your hamstrings and find an end range that works for you. So for me, my hamstrings are a little bit more open. So you might find that you get just below the knee, and then if you try to go any further, you start to collapse or round, and that's your range, and that's okay, all right? So really being mindful about your body and adjusting your movements based on what is showing up for you. All right, let's bend the knees. Weights come down, back of the mat. Here we go. Feet hip distance wide, knees soft. Forward fold. Walk forward straight away. One push up, knees up or down. Walk it back. Hands coming back towards the feet. Soft knees. Walk forwards. Knees up or down. We push up. Core's nice and tight. We walk the hands back. Walk it forwards, you've got it. Push up. Walk it back, here we go. In trams now, we're building some intensity. We're on the home stretch though. Walk it forwards. Push up. Walk it back. Stay in your fold. And walk straight forwards. Don't stay in it too long. Push up. Walk it back. And then walk it forwards. Push up. Walk your feet to hands, walk your feet to hands. Now you can always adjust, standing up, you can always adjust your pace. So if I'm going too fast, you're more than welcome to slow things down. So it's all good. All right, we made it to the last round. Bend your knees to pick up your weights. And then standing tall, feet are about hip distance, toes forwards, shoulders back, knees soft, hips back. Find your range, stand tall, squeeze your butt. When you come to the top of your movement, make sure you're not thrusting your hips so far forwards that you're leaning back and putting pressure on the lumbar. You want to just come to a straight position. So your knees and your hips will lock out, you're standing tall. Shoulder blades are squeezing down and back to support the movement. And by squeezing them down and back, you're working your upper back. But you're also ensuring that as you go down, you're not getting that rounding through the front of your shoulder. Coming up, last rep, hips back, standing tall. Alrighty, bend your knees to bring your weights down to the floor. Come to the back of your mat. Oh, okay, last little bit, feet hip distance wide, forward fold. Walk straight out, knees up or down, push up. Walk your hands back. All right, we're spicing things up this time. Walk forwards, 2 push-ups. Core really tight. Try not to drop through your pelvis in your push-ups. If you do drop through the pelvis, or if you find your depth is not super low, drop to knees for sure. Core tight, we walk to plank, 3 push-ups. 3, 2, belly tight, hips stay in line with your shoulders. 1, walk it back. Alrighty, last time walking forwards. And you're gonna drop to knees here. We got 4. We go 4, 3, belly's really tight. 2 and 1. Walk it back into a forward fold. Allow your knees to be soft, let your upper body hang heavy. You might even grab your opposite elbows. Release through your head, your jaw, your neck, your face. And then just take a few slow breaths. Maybe you let your arms dangle. Again, really be mindful of clenching your jaw. Quite common. And then slowly, slowly, come all the way up to a standing position. We'll finish with just a little stretch, so not a super long stretch. So we're going to come to a seated position. Legs are fairly wide, but for some of us, wide is here. For some of us, wide is here, or somewhere in between. But you want to be able to sit up tall, so if you're sitting in this wide position, and straight away you're slouching, you want to be able to sit up tall. And so if you've got a cushion or a block or something of that nature, you might place that underneath so that you can sit upright. Okay, so I'll demonstrate with the block. I find it really helpful. So toes up, heels are down, little bend through the knees, and then start to walk your hands forwards as your belly hugs in, slowly forward folding. Now what tends to happen here is the toes collapse in towards the center. We want to try and externally rotate the legs. So the toes, the big toes, are actually going to be turning up towards the roof or maybe even outwards. Ooh, not sure what that banging noise is. Apologies for that. Something's happening in the building. Luckily we haven't had an alarm go off. Sometimes the fire alarm goes, so thankfully we're safe. And then just allow your belly to soften, your upper body is just kind of hanging nice and heavy. And then I'm just taking 2 more breaths. You might find in this shape, it's definitely one that your body starts to open a little more into after you give it a bit of time. So if you have more time and you just want to stay, you might pause the video. If not, walking your hands back in, sitting down onto your bum. You might still use your block or your pillow. And with both legs out long, please take your right foot on the outside edge of your left leg. And then try and hug it quite close to your body. Then take your right hand behind your right hip, left arm reaching up, inhale. And start to turn your chest to the right, gaze over your right shoulder, and you could either hook your left arm around your right knee to twist, or the elbow, your left elbow hooks around your knee. Whichever works best for you. You might take your right hand back a little, come to fingertips so that you've got that press, so that you can lengthen your spine and your chest is really lifted. For some of us, a half bind will feel good. For some of us, it won't. And just taking 2 breaths here. One more breath in. One more breath out. And then slowly unwind. Right leg long, left leg over, so left foot on the outside of your right leg. Maybe hugging with the right arm, or you can just keep it wherever for now. Left hand behind the hip, either reaching your arm up, or if it's already hugging, you can keep it there. As you breathe in, then look over your left shoulder, twist to the left, hug or hook, left arm, my goodness, right arm, left leg. And then thinking about length through your spine, so you could use your left hand, this is your actual left, to press down a little and lengthen your chest, lengthen your spine. And then your gaze could be soft, or you might even close your eyes now. Just one more deep breath in. A slow breath out. And gently unwinding. Now if you have a little bit of time, I'd recommend laying down into Shavasana. Arms long, palms open, legs long. And just taking about a minute or two there to just rest, let your nervous system settle. Take a few really long and slow breaths to, yeah, like I said, just calm things down. And if not, I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon regardless. But thanks for joining for the workout, and I will see you in workout 2.